I'm sat here purely focusing on the threat and risk to a former member of the royal family, or rather a former member of royal duties, who will always be a member of the royal family, who has gone from a huge amount of police protection to none at all.
I know this is probably just speculation, but how much would this cost for Harry to pay for this on his own?
It's very difficult to put a figure exactly on it. The cost for a personal protection officer from the Met Police has been estimated to be around £100,000 a year. Now they're probably between 50 and 60 basic salary, and then of course on top of that you have overtime, and then you have all of the life support expenses. So in terms of flights, accommodation, food, and all this other subsistence, the costs can considerably go up. For example, if you were to imagine a client wishing to have security at their property and all they wanted was one person, in effect, that isn't one person at all, but four, because you have one person during the day, one person at night, and then you have one person sleeping, and then it's a rotation in that sort of that manner. So what may appear as a wish on paper is far more in reality, and the cost can certainly be quite huge indeed.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Harry, security issues aside, we also have a big event coming up in the UK this year with the Queen's Jubilee. I mean, what kind of goes into preparing a security for a massive event like that? And how long in advance does planning occur?
Major royal functions take a considerable amount of planning. It's not just the days of the event where all the work goes in. Nearly all of the work is done in the planning and preparation for it. There's a huge amount using so many diverse agencies that the basis of which is to provide that most secure situation possible, so that the protection officers on the ground do not have to worry or concern about aspects of it, because they've already been catered for and there's other people overseeing it. So, for example, when you have a royal wedding, for example, or such as the Jubilee coming up, you could expect preparations to be written down years in advance. And of course, you will have a template of aspects to work from for such events. So it's basic templates to work from that over the months nearer to the event itself would be tweaked and refined. Many meetings, many discussions, and much amount of manpower involved as well. So for a royal event, you can expect intelligence flows from the security agencies, Protection Command, Counter-Terrorism Command, Special Forces, covert operators within the crowd, and all of these security counter-terrorism services going on in the background, when what you have as a protection officer on the ground is a sole concern for that individual and his immediate space. So the uniform presence deals with an outer cordon as such, if there are any crowds nearby, is catered for. And the protection officer only has to deal with his principal in the immediate vicinity of them. So they would react to anything they see and anything they hear. So everything is pretty much done for them when you're actually concerned about a protection officer and the overwhelming amount of work he needs to do and the pressure and stress that he is under. In fact, on the day, yes, one is quite relieved that the day is over at the end of it, successfully. You can breathe a sigh of relief. But during the day, yes, pressure and stress is there, but in terms of actual responsibility, it's that person, actions on, constantly saying what if, and dealing with any anomalies during the day.
Definitely. And then going back to Harry, one more question. Now that he's made this public and released a statement about it, do you think that this petition will be reversed and he will get the police protection that he needs?
Absolutely not. No. I don't believe the Home Office will back down whatsoever. Because if they did, that in itself would set a precedent for future legal actions against them. They have to be committed now to their decision. It's a very difficult situation they've had. They've taken one route that I wouldn't have. But of course, they are privy to far much more decision-making processes than I am. But yet again, I'm sat here purely focusing on the threat and risk to a former member of the royal family, or rather, a former member of royal duties, who will always be a member of the royal family, who has gone from a huge amount of police protection to none at all. The private sector can do their best. Now, we only employ former government protection officers. We can have someone who's provided protection to the Prime Minister on a Monday, working for us on a Tuesday, and likewise for the royal family. So the standard is there on the ground, but they still won't have the powers of the law on their side. It's not just about the caliber of the individual, even though that is huge, because much to do with close protection is planning and preparation. But it's a huge aspect of police provision where they have the laws on their side that make all the difference, not to mention the intelligence.
Yeah. Richard, thank you so much. I learned so much from you. I really appreciate it. You were so thorough, and I feel like I really understand this now. So thank you so much. This was wonderful.